Hello and welcome once again to the Freedom Watchdog channel. Today we're going to talk about CBDCs or central bank digital currencies and how they're going to affect everyone's life when they come in, how it's going to change how businesses and customers interact with one another, and most importantly for you, what you're allowed to buy and when you're allowed to buy it. Now I'll just quickly touch on what a CBDC is in case you don't know already. All it is a digital currency that's been issued by a central bank. In the case of the UK, it'll be issued by the Bank of England. Now, the reason it won't be the same as what we use already with online banking is because it'll be issued directly from the central bank. In the UK's case, the Bank of England. The digital cash we use now with online banking is held with commercial banks like Barclays, Lloyds, Halifax, etc. etc. Now the setup is a little bit different in the UK. The Bank of England is actually owned by the UK government. It wasn't always this way, it did used to be privately owned. So long story short, if a central bank digital currency comes in, a CBDC, then you're basically getting money issued by the government directly to you. There's no middleman, there's no commercial bank between, it's just literally going onto an app, and that app on your phone will essentially be your wallet to carry your money around. And in a nutshell, that's how it's going to work. Now, there's a few problems with this, which I'm about to get into here. The first one is that they will be able to track absolutely everything you buy. And you may be thinking, well, they can do that already. They can track everything I buy from the commercial bank. With my online banking, it'll be on my statement. But the difference is here, they'll actually be able to track what you're buying in real time. Now, it looks like over in the West, they're going to start off by using carbon credits as opposed to social credits. So let me show you now what carbon credits actually are. This is a company called Duconomy, and they've created the world's first credit or debit card which tracks how much CO2 has been produced in the consumer goods that you buy. And look down here in the bottom left corner, World Economic Forum, so there's no surprise there. So for example, a steak would have used and made a lot more CO2 emissions being produced and delivered to you in the supermarket than what a carrot would have done. Therefore, a steak will cost you more carbon credits. So, alongside the currency or money you've got in your account, you will also have a set amount of carbon credits every month, and depending on what you purchase will depend how many carbon credits get deducted from you. So, if we take a look at what they say here. Our non-plastic, biodegradable DoCard tracks the CO2 emissions generated from our transactions and then displays that data through a simple app. Our world-leading technology connects the purchase price of a product with the effect on the planet measured in kg CO2, and then enables us to offset or invest for positive impact. Do gives us the means to balance what we want with what we believe in. That doesn't sound right, does it? Means to balance what we want with what believe in. That's been poorly written there, hasn't it? Now, when you first read that, it does sound like they're just going to offset it somewhere else. Like they'll sort out the carbon emissions, they'll plant a few trees, and they'll offset it that way. But unfortunately, that's not the case. If we have a look down here, Do Black. To effectively reduce the climate crisis, we have to make behavioural changes with high impacts. Do Black is a not yet launched credit card that helps us calculate our climate spending, but it also comes with a monthly TCO2e limit, and that just means tons of CO2 equivalent, ensuring that we stick to the UN 2030 recommended cuts in carbon coming soon. And as you can see over here, Transaction denied, carbon limit reached. So once you hit that carbon limit, you won't be able to spend possibly anything at all, because if you look up here, everything we put in our shopping basket comes at an environmental cost. So does that mean you won't be able to spend anything at all? Because that's what it sounds like if you read between the lines, and I guess that's the only way they'd actually modify people's behaviour, which is what they're talking about. I mean, how else would they do it? There'd be no point in setting a carbon limit if you can break that limit and pay for more, and carry on as usual. Obviously, all this will end up leading to is a lot of things getting sold on the black market. And even though a lot of the things governments do are quite bad for society, it's funny how everything, when they try to make something better or more efficient, I mean, this is obviously a scam anyway, isn't it? But whenever they try to make something more efficient, they actually make it even worse. But they're actually going to make it worse for themselves, because all this will lead people in doing is selling goods on the black market, goods they're not going to be collecting tax on, and they'll be traded with other currency like gold, silver, crypto. Because if everyone's got a central bank digital currency and that's the only thing they've got, then people will find other things to trade, won't they? And we've seen this with other countries when they've gone into hyperinflation and the governments come out and say, look, you cannot use anything else as currency, you can't use other world currencies to trade, you can't use anything, you must use our currency, or there'll be heavy fines or penalties and prison time for anyone that does business with these other currencies. Well, people have no choice, they end up doing it anyway, and even a lot of the officials, police and government officials start doing it as well. But obviously the biggest concern is what's going to happen to the supply of the things they don't want us to eat, and even products that they don't want us to have, as a result of this kind of technology being in place. Because a small shop may sell you things off the books for something else, but if you go into a supermarket, they're not going to accept silver or Bitcoin or anything else, are they? But I'm sure there'll be ways around it. And if you're one of those people who's adamant we shouldn't do a single thing to damage the environment, of course we all want to look after the environment better, but what you're doing is actually playing into the hands of the people that are bringing out this technology. And these people, they don't care about the environment. They've not got the world's or humanity's interest best at heart. All they care about is restricting supply of various products, maybe meat, maybe a lot of other things. Anything they deem makes too many CO2 emissions, well, that supply is going to get restricted, isn't it? And as a result, that means we're going to be paying more for the items that we can get. So it's basically an invisible tax, an invisible way of taxation, because this will drive up tax receipts and just drive up prices even higher than what they're going to be anyway, due to all this inflation we're faced with. Now, I don't want to make it all doom and gloom, because I don't want this channel to be about that. So what can you do in the meantime? I've already said it many times. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, other cryptos. All the major countries in the world will probably end up using central bank digital currencies. So you do need something outside the system. Having other world currencies, I don't think is going to do the job. So get some wealth outside of the system. I think what we will find when this comes in as well, people will start growing a lot of their own food, because then they're not going to be using up small credits on vegetables, not as many anyway, which will allow them to purchase more. But still, it's not good, is it, if you're allowing governments to micromanage your life. So that's why it's important to get ready, get prepared. Make sure you go out and get some seeds, get some non-GMO seeds. You can literally get thousands of seeds for less than £100. So there's no excuse to not do it, really. Now we're being confronted with what we're being confronted with. Not to mention everything that's going on, all the shortages they're talking about. Whether you think they're real or engineered, who knows what things are going to look like in a few years. And, you know, I mean, growing your own non-GMO food's going to be a lot healthier for you anyway than getting the rubbish they give you at the supermarket. So why not do it? As I said, you can get thousands of seeds for less than £100, so if money's a problem, then it's certainly going to save you money in the long run. And who knows, it may even add an extra few years to your life. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.